Now then, I think this is a long one. I was tempted to save this for another day. This is the Stargate one. It's a Gate World article, but there's a lot of pictures in it, so it might not be as long as it looks. Right, Gate World. Who wrote this? Adam Barnard. This is why there's no new Stargate yet, says Gate World. It's been 2 years since Amazon bought MGM. These factors likely have kept Stargate off the announcement slate. And there's the Atlantis Stargate. I watched a lot of Atlantis yesterday, actually. About 4 or 5 episodes. I had an early night. I went to bed early, and I just put my telly on and watched them on MGM, Amazon. Watched them on there. No subtitles. Amazon, sort your bloody streaming service out and get subtitles on everything. Anyway, I like subtitles because I'm usually eating crisps or something and I can't hear what people are saying. Anyway, I know this has become something of a punchline lately, but I'm going to once again ask the question that has plagued the minds of fans for many years. Where the hell is new Stargate? In the golden era of streaming and franchise revitalizations, how did a piece of intellectual property as valuable and widely beloved as Stargate get left behind? Is it merely a result of bad luck, or are there other factors in play? Most importantly, is it too late for Stargate to make a proper return? No, and it's baffling. I don't understand what they're playing at. Wingrace says, I watched Atlantis yesterday too. The 2-part where the ancients come back to Atlantis and the team goes home. But twist, yes, it's a good one, is that? That's the one with Plan, is it Plan F? It's in the second part, isn't it? Where Jack O'Neill says, that sounds more like Plan F, as in we are totally, or completely, whatever it says, something like that. I watched the one, well, the ones, which ones did I watch now? I watched the end of the one with, I forgot her bloody name now. That would go on to play the Doctor. I can never remember her name. She was in Firefly. Where she played the young Wraith. And I could never get it out. I could never understand why is she female? Because we only ever see male Wraiths. And the only female Wraiths we see are the queens. But she didn't look like a queen. But I don't know. I didn't understand that. So would she have grown up to be a queen? Anyway, I don't know. I saw that one, and then the one after it followed on from that, didn't it? Where Shepherd were turning into a wraith because she infected him. Dr. Keller, yes, but I forgot the name of the actress. It always eludes me. It'll come to me. That one, and then there were, what else were there? What other ones were there? There were one where they found the Aurora, the ancient ship, where all the crew were in like a virtual thing. They're in stasis chambers and the brains were in a virtual reality one. Dual state, yes, that's dual state. Yes, dual state. Yes, why can I never remember that? I don't know. Josh Temple says, I watch SG1 in Atlantis every night on Pluto. That's why I fall asleep to it. Atlantis episode was the whales coming to Atlantis for safety. Yes, that's a good one as well. Because there's a big, like the storm of the century or whatever coming, isn't there? And so they come to Atlantis. Because they got used to it, haven't they? Because the ancients extended the shields, didn't they, to protect the whales. But they couldn't do that for some reason, or they did it eventually, or whatever. But yeah, that's a good one. It's as good as Atlantis. I love Atlantis. Anyway, where were we? I watched another one as well, and I can't remember what it was now. I'm thinking. I don't know. Ooh, it popped in my head then, and then disappeared straight away. Yes, the one with we see Ford again with his. It's called The Lost Boys. That episode, I watched that one as well. There. Actually, that were a 2-parter as well. Yeah, that one. Anyway, right. Me too. I alternate Trek or Gate depending on which episodes they have on before sleep. It's great stuff to fall asleep to, either Star Trek or Stargate, because it's warm blanket TV, innit? It is. Anyway. Right, where were we? I share in the frustration. Adam Barnard shares in the frustration of watching this incredible franchise be continuously overlooked by its management, and I understand the fear that the chance has passed for a proper continuation of the franchise as we knew it. No, it hasn't. From the outside, things appear pretty bleak. However, I still very much believe we will get new Stargate in one form or another eventually. I mean, they could do a Stargate, starting from now. I say it's been like 20 years or whatever since the last time we checked in on what's been going on, and loads of stuff could have happened. The Earth could have been in jeopardy all these umpteen times, and they could mention it. Just as, because like Stargate has its little running gags, like I did an article on it. Has these running gags, not an article, a video. That could be one of them in this new set of Stargates. The running gags of how many times that they've saved the Earth that we've not seen. Was it? Oh, remember when the blobber jobs attacked the Earth, and we almost were destroyed. Oh, wasn't that a week? That'd be good, wouldn't it? Anyway, Josh Temple says, never made sense seeing how the ship was on the bottom of the ocean for millennia. What did the whales do for that time? That's a good point. So it's rubbish. Turn it off. Don't watch it again. Great minds think alike, Wing Grace. Yeah, that never occurred to me. Obviously, never occurred to the writers either. But anyway, the shield, though, were up, wasn't it? While it were at the bottom of the sea, the shield were up. So maybe the whales could pass through the shield. If they were going slow enough, maybe they could pass through the shield and get to safety. I don't know. I don't know. Remember when the furling showed up 15 years, then went extinct? Pity that. Yes, that would be another good one. But, see, we're giving them ideas, aren't we? If they're watching. Anyway, I forgot where I was now. But given the current circumstances at Amazon MGM Studios and the entertainment industry at large, there are likely a few factors to blame for this lack of new developments since Amazon closed its purchase of MGM in March of 2022. Before we dive into those current factors, let's take a step back and review the chain of events that resulted in Stargate entering this extended state of limbo, despite the fact that not too long ago it was one of the most successful and longest-running sci-fi franchises on the air. Yes, and it's amazing. Even Universe, but not as good as Atlantis or SG-1. Right, how we got here. It's been almost 13 years since Stargate Universe signed off with its series finale Gauntlet on the Sci-Fi Channel. I mean, imagine starting that up again, going back to find out what happened to the crew of the Destiny, and seeing David Blue, Eli, as he looks now, he's all buff now, isn't he? Because he works out and stuff. But in Universe, for some reason, he stayed too big, didn't he? But never mind. Remember when the Hutts invaded the Furling's homeworld and SG-1 had to go help stop them? It's the Hutts. That's a crossover. A crossover with Star Wars. That'd be a good one. Anyway, it's been almost 13 years since Stargate Universe signed off with its series finale Gauntlet on the Sci-Fi Channel. This episode marked the end of a sprawling and wildly successful shared universe of television series. Let's call it the Wright Cooper era. After showrunners Brad Wright and Robert C. Cooper. It encompassed 3 television shows, 17 seasons of television, and 2 direct-to-DVD movies between 1997 and 2011. I don't know who were in charge of the cartoon Stargate Infinity. Despite Stargate's long-lasting success, MGM's bankruptcy at the end of 2010, rapidly evolving market factors, Stargate Universe's declining ratings, it shouldn't have been so different to the others, to be honest. And the Sci-Fi Channel's change in brand strategy forced the Stargate franchise, along with the crew of the Destiny, into stasis. The first sign of hope for Stargate came in 2014, when MGM announced that Stargate feature film director Roland Emmerich was looking to reboot the franchise with a big-budget theatrical movie. Thank God he didn't. A film that was also intended to launch a brand new Stargate trilogy. It was an unexpected chance for Emmerich and writer-producer Dean Devlin to realise their original vision for the Stargate trilogy that never was, while also breathing new life into the dormant franchise. Thank God they didn't, because SG-1 and Atlantis and Universe were miles better than the original Stargate film, which I do like. Obviously, I like the Stargate film. It brought us the rest of Stargate, but the series improved upon the film immeasurably, and I think Children of the Gods is a better film than Stargate, in my opinion. But anyway, the Furlings are Ewoks. That's headcanon now. The cats. Furlings are cats. They're around us. They're among us. They always have been. That's my headcanon. Infinity had a couple of cool ideas that I wouldn't mind them porting over to a main show, but it was mostly crap. I think I saw about maybe 5 or 10 minutes of the first episode and I turned it off. It got on my nerves. My favourite part of the Stargate film is before they leave Earth. Pretty much. Yeah. Them working out the stuff is among the best parts. But, you know, once they get to... They don't call it Abydos, do they, in the film? It's just... And it's all different, innit? Because they've gone to the Kalium galaxy or something like that. On the other side of the universe. But then in the series, they said that it's actually one of the closest Stargates to Earth. So, but anyway, that's by the by. Where were we? I forgot where I was again now. Right, here we go. Unfortunately, or fortunately, yeah, depending on how much you care about the canon of the television universe, that proposed reboot fell apart a couple of years later, and MGM went back to the drawing board. The studio landed on Stargate Origins, a short-form digital web series that chronicled the adventures of a young Catherine Langford and her father, played by Connor Trinier, after they make an accidental trip through the Stargate a whole decade after they first discovered the device in Giza, Egypt. Origins was released in 2018 and was distributed on the recently launched Stargate Command, which I subscribed to, a digital subscription platform for all things Stargate. And, you know, I didn't mind Stargate Origins. Yeah, it was a bit cheap. But, you know, it was fun. It was fun. And the aliens inside Ra looks like an Asgard. Yes, he did in the film, didn't he? But some have said, haven't they, that Ra really was an Asgard and he'd got something or whatever to make him look human, but he were an Asgard inside. And a Goa'uld inside an Asgard inside a human. I don't know. It's like one of those, what is it, a 3-bird roast you get. Anyway. Oh dear. Origins was a modest success as far as web series go, and was also turned into a feature-length cut, which I bought on Google. But anyway, that was released, and I've never watched it. I watched it once and never watched it again. But it was fine. That was released on VOD platforms like iTunes, broadening the series' reach. They should have brought it out on DVD or something, shouldn't they, or Blu-ray? I'd have bought it. For completion's sake. There were rumours that more Origins-type series were on the way, like an Origins story about the Jafar that would have seen Christopher Judge reprising his role as Teal'c, but for whatever reason those series never came to pass, and Stargate Command shut down the next year. Yes, it did. It was very sad. Could have been using the foothold alien tech to mimic the real ancient human body. Yes, it could have done, yes. Yes. The little round things. But 2018 was still a hopeful year for the franchise, as longtime Stargate writer and series co-creator Brad Wright announced that he was once again in talks with MGM about a potential project. By early 2020, Wright had completed a pilot for a proposed fourth Stargate series, as he completed a script for a pilot. A series that would have continued the canon of the television universe and included appearances from several legacy characters. But just as Wright completed his pilot and took his script to streamers and networks, the COVID pandemic hit. And oddly enough, I think when that happened, I think in the midst of that, I just happened to watch. I had to be rewatching SG1, and then we had the Ori plague and stuff like that they tried to pass off as a flu thing, didn't they, in the series? Anyway, that was one of the best things Stargate did. They would just bring back random pieces of canon for major story elements. Well, sometimes. Yes. Anyway, I wonder what happened with them aliens that, basically just attacked Stargate Command and took it over. Whatever happened to them? We never saw them again, did we? Film and TV production shut down along with the rest of society, plunging the entertainment industry into a period of extreme uncertainty, while Wright's fourth Stargate series failed to find a distributor. If there was any hope that the pandemic's end would bring about renewed interest in Wright's proposed series, that hope was dashed in May of 2021 when it was announced that Amazon had cut a deal to acquire MGM for $8.45 billion. During a massive acquisition like this one, projects without an active green light are typically shelved and subject to review by the new owners who often have a different vision for the studio and its future projects. Most of the alien-looking aliens just disappeared. Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. They were saving them up for Stargate Universe, because we didn't see any not many, human-like aliens, did we, in Stargate Universe? They were very alien, weren't they? I think the only human ones we saw them were like ancestors, or descendants, of the Destiny crew, weren't there, and stuff like that. When that weird thing happened with time travel and all that. Wright himself later admitted that the acquisition of MGM and the regime change within the studio almost certainly doomed his fourth series, saying that all the players have changed in the interim, so it's likely destined to gather dust. And there's Atlantis. Or is it? Yes, it is. But with all of that information in mind, now it's 2024. Amazon's acquisition of MGM has been complete for 2 years, and a slew of movies and TV shows, including some franchise projects, have already begun to move forward. Even if Amazon MGM Studios has permanently scrapped Wright's fourth series, which in my opinion would be a huge mistake, it is surprising that the studio has offered no update regarding Stargate's future. So what's the hold-up? As far as I can tell, these are the most likely factors. 1. Stargate might not be an immediate priority, which is baffling to me. But anyway, while Stargate is one of the more noteworthy franchises in MGM's library, it might take a backseat when it comes to the studio's most urgent objectives. So far, that appears to be on the theatrical side. With something like the Rocky franchise, MGM has a successful and active series of theatrical films, the Creed movies, which gives that franchise a lot of momentum and makes the next step very clear. But Stargate has been on the shelf for over a decade, aside from Stargate Origins, and that creates an extra set of challenges. On television, we haven't seen any official announcements related to MGM's legacy properties, aside from a James Bond reality competition show, which I started watching, but I thought it was crap, so I turned it off. MGM's currently active projects are either brand new or holdovers from before the sale. Vikings, Valhalla, Wednesday, etc. Wednesday? I thought they were on Netflix. Is it? Or is that on Amazon? I can't remember. The Wednesday Addams thing. Is that what they're on about? I thought that was on Netflix. Anyway, sure it is. If the studio is going to pass on the Brad Wright series, there just isn't a clear or immediate path forward for Stargate. Sure, that opens the future to a variety of possibilities, but it also means the studio will have to put more effort first into long-term franchise planning. Yes, Wednesday is on Netflix. I thought it was. Anyway, never mind. But like I say, Amazon, they'll throw money at stuff like Reacher or The Boys or that Boys spin-off, which I forgot what it was called, the Gen V. They'll throw money at those, won't they? Why not throw some money at Stargate? Anyway. That's not to say Stargate is not important. I still believe that Stargate is on Amazon MGM Studios' post-acquisition to-do list. It just means the studio must manage more considerations before putting something into production and are more likely to take their time with it. 2. They are working hard to get it right. Given Stargate's extended absence, a failed revitalisation or major strategic misstep could mean the end of the franchise as we know it. Sure, Stargate was a modest theatrical hit in 1994. I'm sure it wanted MGM's biggest earning film of that year. I'm sure it was. And made for some iconic television shows in the 90s and 2000s, but I'm not sure if Stargate has deep enough roots to take a major tumble in its next outing and live to tell the tale. Amazon has 2 jobs: throw money at Stargate and bring back the tick. I must admit, the live action, is it the tick? The one with Peter Serafinowicz as the tick, is that the one you're on about? I started watching that and it was quite, amusing, but I didn't get all the way through it. I'm like that with stuff. I forget about things. I start watching stuff and then I forget about it, and then, Sure, Stargate was a modest theatrical hit in 1994 and made for some iconic television shows in the 90s and 2000s. I've read that bit, haven't I? As a result, whatever comes next for Stargate might be a make or break moment for the franchise. I'm sure I just read that. Anyway, whatever. So how does Amazon MGM Studios ensure that their new Stargate project successfully revitalises the franchise? First and foremost, speaking of which, did you read the novels that are sequels to the movie? They're so odd, but cool what ifs. The novels that are sequels to the first movie. No. I think I've got 2 Stargate books up there, and I've never got round to reading them. No, they're not over there. They're over there now in the box. I've got the Atlantis one that follows on from the end of season 5, and I've got another one. I think it's an SG1 one, and I can't remember what that's called. And I've not got around to reading them. I'm terrible. I buy books. I'm always buying books, and I have books bought for me, and I never get around to reading them. I'm sure I forgot how to read. That's why I can't read these bloody things. Just finding the time to sit down and read a book, innit? But anyway. Where were we? I'll start again. So how does MGM Studios ensure that their new Stargate project successfully revitalises the franchise? First and foremost, a major decision must be made regarding franchise canon. Do they stick with the well-established canon from the Wright Cooper era, or do they attempt to recapture what made Stargate great by wiping the slate clean and starting fresh? No, continue it, in my opinion. They are sequels to the movie without any TV canon. Oh, right. No, I've not read them. Not even heard of them, to be honest. Anyway, while I've previously made it clear that I think the television canon must be sustained, I recognise that Amazon MGM Studios might have a different perspective, because they're suits and they don't care, they don't know anything about anything. I hate executives. For new Stargate to be successful, it needs to appeal to a wide range of viewers. Excuse me. Both die-hard fans and casual audiences alike. Sod the casuals. So Amazon MGM Studios might feel like they are limiting the future of the franchise and alienating potential new viewers by sticking with the Wright Cooper timeline and its dense, layered mythology and extensive cast of characters. There's also the question of format. Is Stargate a strong enough brand to relaunch with a series of theatrical films, or should it remain an episodic television series? Or is it wise to relaunch the franchise with a major blockbuster release to reintroduce Stargate on a bigger scale before segueing into an original series on Amazon Prime Video? If they make Stargate with new canon, they'll cancel the show after one season and say, wow, I guess people don't want Stargate anymore. Yes, that's what they'd do. Yes, because it'll put a lot of fans off, wouldn't it? A lot of, SG1 and Atlantis fans. Unless it's like astonishingly good. But that's unlikely in this day and age. Or they'll do a Star Trek and they'll say, oh, yes, it is part of the canon and all that stuff, but they'll just change it enough. And you'll be watching it thinking, what's happened to the Stargate? Why does it look like that? Why are the lights on it purple? And they'll just try and make out, oh, they've always been purple. Anyway. While we are mostly in the dark regarding the studio's decision-making process, some rumours surfaced at the end of 2022 that shed light on what may have been transpiring behind the scenes. Apparently, at that time, several groups were pitching to Amazon MGM Studios about their ideas for new Stargate content, including the Expanse television series creators Mark Fergus and Hawk Osby, great name, some undisclosed producers from Amazon's The Boys, and J.J. Abrams' production company Bad Robot, which is where they made the Stargate purple or whatever. Stargates are just triangles now. Yes, that's what they do. Oddly enough, I started writing a book, another Mercury Rapids sequel, and in that. It had portals. I had portals of alien design. They were triangles. Curiously enough, but I never published it. It's one of my unfinished things that's on my computer. Dear. The fact that Amazon took pictures from TV creatives instead of just hiring filmmakers to execute a predetermined corporate vision for Stargate is certainly an encouraging sign. It suggests the studio is open to different takes on the material and is looking for an established partner to help them crack the best way to revitalise the franchise. 3. Lost media. I got about 20,000 words into it and just forgot about it. Anyway, number 3. Amazon may be tightening up content spending. Despite Amazon being one of the biggest and most successful companies on planet Earth, all is not well with its entertainment division and streaming service, Amazon Prime Video. While most streaming services have been shelling out billions each year to attract top talent and produce the hottest content possible in the hopes of staying competitive with Netflix, 2022 was a wake-up call for many of these platforms. The COVID-era streaming boom was over and streamers started hemorrhaging subscribers as the market became oversaturated and economic factors like inflation tightened consumer spending. Yep, there were too many of them. And there still is too many streamers. Anyway, all of a sudden investors were looking for profitability rather than some fantasy of rapid exponential growth which could justify the enormous budgets. While Amazon MGM Studios is backed by a cash-rich parent company, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy reportedly had concerns about the studio's liberal spending, questioning if it was yielding a worthwhile return on investment. Well, why don't you just go and talk to Jennifer Solke, I don't know how to pronounce her bloody name, and bloody Vanity Project, Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, where she inserted herself as Galadriel, and spent a bazillion spondulex on it. Just a few weeks ago, the studio laid off several hundred employees, including some senior executives, and reorganised its leadership structure, further indicating an attempt to streamline their operation in 2024. They also introduced a controversial change to Amazon Prime Video, requiring existing subscribers to now pay an additional $3 per month to watch content without ads. Given these less than favourable indicators, Amazon MGM Studios may be re-evaluating how quickly to move on Stargate and just how ambitious they want to be when it comes to the franchise. By the way, I'm all praise for Amazon today. This morning, my son woke me up and said, I found a game I want, and I think it's called Outcast. It's for the PS5. So I said, all right. It says it's out. I said, okay, I'll have a look on Amazon and see, how much it is and that. And so I looked and I thought, oh, no, I'll get it for him. So I ordered it and it arrived today, the same day. I was amazed. So, good for you, Amazon. In that regard, right. I forgot where I went now. Anyway, given these less than favourable indicators, Amazon MGM Studios may be re-evaluating how quickly to move on Stargate and just how ambitious they want to be when it comes to the franchise. Or perhaps they have settled on how to proceed with Stargate, but are currently in a holding pattern to see how the dust settles before moving forward. Is that the Jack O'Neill, or is that the one that's named after her, the Samantha Carter, or is it the Daniel Jackson? Don't know. Always naming the ships, weren't they, after the SG-1 team members. Me. Wingrace, Lord of the Rings never struck me as a world to live in and explore. It hit a chord. Because of Tolkien, yeah, pretty much. But it didn't do very well either, I don't think. Didn't they say something less than half of its viewers that watched the first episode were still watching by the time it got to the end of the series? So it lost over half of its audience, didn't it? Which, if it were a Netflix series, would have got it cancelled, because apparently that's the criteria on Netflix. If your show loses half of its audience by the end of season 1, it gets cancelled. So it would have been cancelled if it had been a Netflix show. Anyway. Thing is, I didn't hate Lord of the Rings of Power. I didn't like it very much either, but I didn't loathe it like some people, loathe it. But it just wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. Right, number 4. Stargate will be expensive to produce. While Stargate has always been known for its thrifty use of its budget and ability to create impressive planet-hopping adventures with limited resources, the effects in Stargate Atlantis, I think, are amazing. Particularly in the space battles and stuff. That's why I use one in my intro. They're amazing. Well, that's a dumb model. Netflix cancelled a show I was watching halfway through me watching episode 1. Yeah, they do. And they tend to cancel things just as they're getting good, or just when they're getting on a cliffhanger, like Santa Clara Diet. I loved that. With Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant. A great show with that. They bloody cancelled that. So that's what's annoying about Netflix, to be completely honest. But that can happen with regular studios as well, I suppose, can't it? Things get cancelled all the time, don't they? So, but anyway. If you don't hold on to your audience, you're going to get cancelled. Whether you're on a streamer or on regular TV, I suppose. Anywho, right, where were we? We'll start that again. While Stargate has always been known for its thrifty use of its budget and ability to create impressive planet-hopping adventures with limited resources, we are now living in a different era of filmmaking. Production costs have gone up across the board, and even if Stargate is revived as a modest streaming series, it could come with a much heftier price tag. Yeah, because they think they're making films instead of TV shows. Maybe they should release things weekly, grumbles. Yeah. Which they are doing more of now, aren't they? There's still some stuff still does come out, doesn't it? For you to binge all at once. But you seem to be getting more weekly things on streaming services. Furthermore, given how streaming series have become more ambitious in an attempt to compete with the scale of theatrical films, viewers can now expect a certain standard of quality from their premium shows, especially if it's from a major franchise. It's because they're all trying to compete with Game of Thrones. They're trying to make every series a premium series now. It was Game of Thrones that essentially started that sort of, wasn't it? That was the big one, the catalyst, wasn't it, that set all that off. I think the last, is it like shows like on the CW? They're like kind of, if they're still going, I don't know. They're kind of like the last vestige of old-fashioned TV series. It'd be like 20 episodes plus. But anyway, weekly and a minimum of 15 episode seasons. That's the sweet spot, in my opinion. A minimum, yes, of 50. I'd say 20 myself, but minimum of 20. Get 24 in, Beep, beep, beep. We still love 24. Anyway, furthermore, given how... I've read that answer. Were Stargate to make a return on Prime Video and compete for the affection of new viewers, it would need to hold up against the latest offerings from Star Wars, Star Trek and other major sci-fi franchises. If it is a major theatrical film... By the way, Windgrace is still smarting from the cancellation of Quantum Leap, by the way. I prefer 24, but I was trying to compromise. Well, yeah. And that's okay. That's okay. For the millions of studio execs watching, yes, around the world. If it's a major theatrical film, on the other hand, Stargate will need to deliver compelling blockbuster-scale action to appeal to a wide range of casual viewers, as these kinds of films must attract an enormous global audience to even turn a profit. Well, they could do. They could set it in the Stargate canon, the TV canon. I mean, they could do an Atlantis one, or a crossover SG-1 Atlantis one, where maybe you've got the Wraith and all these other and massive space battles, because we've had them in SG-1 and Atlantis, particularly Atlantis. That was the series if you wanted big space battles, wasn't it? But anyway, they could do it if they wanted to. That being said, as these kinds of films must attract an enormous global audience to even turn a profit. That being said, I do think the film industry is currently learning an important lesson. Bigger doesn't always equal better, exactly. Not every franchise project needs to gross $1 billion at the box office or become a Stranger Things-sized hit on streaming. They could have a big battle against the Wraithplicators. Yes. Yes, that's something that... Well, that coming, you think that were going to happen when down the line in Atlantis, the replicators becoming wraiths or whatever? Because they never... I don't know. Well, the replicators were designed to destroy the wraith, weren't they? And they were doing that, weren't they? I can't remember what happened now. I'm trying to think. Anyway, we'll get to it when I catch up in the series. Oh, that my phone making a noise. What's my phone making a noise for? I don't think it's anything important. No. Man. Probably the cat tripping the camera outside. Anyway. Besides, the more responsibly priced a production is, the fewer patrons it needs to be considered a success. So perhaps Amazon MGM Studios will apply this lesson to new Stargate. Speaking of patrons, check out my Patreon page. Link is in the description. Still, no matter what approach the studio takes, it's clear that a new project will require a significant investment. Complex sets, practical alien locations. No, you just need a Canadian pine forest. That's all you need. State-of-the-art visual effects or something like the volume of The Mandalorian. It ain't gonna be cheap. And there's Jack O'Neill's pond. Number 5. The strike slowed everything down. To be honest, I was never keen on human form replicators, but I like them in general. I didn't like them either, to be honest. I prefer the replicators when they were, the bug ones, and when they got to human forms and they were like made of, tiny nanobot things. Kind of lost me a bit. But anyway, need a forest and a quarry nearby. Yes, you do. Yes. With the Stargate in the middle of the quarry, so they've got to run for it through open ground, with stuff blowing up around them, and then jump through the gate, just as a big explosion goes off, at the opening, and that's what you need. Anyway, so yes, I agree. Number 5, the strike slowed everything down. I don't want to spend too much time talking about last year's Labour Union contract debacles. But it is important to note just how much damage the strikes inflicted on the entertainment industry as a whole, regardless of where you stand on the merit of the demands of the Film Actors Guild and the WGA. More than $6 billion of value is estimated to have been lost as a result of the strikes. And was it something like over 40,000 jobs altogether, have been lost because of the strikes. Not just from writers and actors and stuff, but, in peripheral industries as well, because the studios shut down, didn't they? Anyway, so how did that go for you, writers and actors? Months went by where writers were unable to write and actors could not act, and as a result, Hollywood's entire development and production infrastructure ground to a halt. Once the strikes were resolved, there was a ripple effect too. Projects that were already greenlit were re-evaluated or outright cancelled. Scheduling for actors, sound stages and other production necessities was a nightmare, further delaying the return to business as usual. And thanks to the changing economics of streaming, along with the contraction of the film industry as a whole, studios were forced to reconsider what kind of content they wanted to prioritise and how much they were willing to spend on it. So regardless of where Stargate was in its development process at Amazon MGM Studios in early 2023, the strikes have almost certainly delayed or complicated the franchise's path back to our screens. Okay, phew, that was a lot. I'll give everyone a second to catch your breath because there's one last factor I want to address regarding Amazon MGM Studios' radio silence. And there's a thing from Stargate Universe. Number 6, the overlooked value of Stargate. While it is not something I take pleasure in saying, I think it is entirely possible that Amazon MGM Studios does not recognise the value of Stargate and its fan base, and does not understand the untapped potential of this franchise. If you've been a part of Stargate fandom for long enough, you know that the franchise has been underestimated since day one. Even after Stargate proved itself with several successful series in the 2000s, MGM exec Charlie Cohen repeatedly had to go to bat for Stargate with his bosses, who did not understand why the franchise was being treated as such a priority. Even now, despite the absence of new narrative content, the digital footprint of Stargate fandom online remains impressive and robust. Fans showed the studio during the #WeWantStargate fan campaign, which trended globally on Twitter, that there were plenty of consumers still interested in the future of the franchise. I've also heard rumours that the viewership for Stargate SG-1's tenure on Netflix was excellent. Never been on Netflix over here, I don't think. And I'm willing to bet that then, I think, and when it were available on Amazon, I think you had to pay for it extra. Now it's, it's through MGM now. You've got to subscribe to MGM through Amazon if you want to watch Stargate, on streaming. Anyway. And I've also heard rumours that the viewership for Stargate SG-1's tenure on Netflix was excellent, and I'm willing to bet that Stargate licensing and merchandising, which have notably increased in recent years, despite no new productions, have been a solid source of passive income for the studio too. I think Stargate is it's an iconic brand. I mean, you can't see it up there. Hang on, maybe you could just make it out. Can you see it there? Miss Stargate. I mean, that's a... can you see it? I don't know. It's up there anyway, Miss Stargate. It's an iconic shape. It's like the TARDIS or the Starship Enterprise. They've got that. The TARDIS, Starship Enterprise, and the Stargate. That's, whatchamacallit? A thing for your fish to swim around in an aquarium thing for your fish to swim around. And I don't think it said Stargate. I think it just said, ring of whatever. But it's definitely a Stargate. Anyway. I forgot where I went. I keep bloody missing my place. Unfortunately, it's unclear whether this kind of data is reaching the high-level executives who make decisions regarding the franchise's future, and besides, an argument can be made that while such data is emblematic of a strong fan base, a healthy fan base alone doesn't always create enough viewers to justify an expensive new movie or television show, as proven by them doing the Stargate Command streaming service. I'm sure like thousands of people probably did subscribe to it, including me, but that probably wasn't enough to keep it going. You know, all the Stargate fans probably subscribed to it, but it didn't bring in new fans, did it? Anyway. But while new owners undervaluing, that's why it only lasted a year, but while new owners undervaluing a golden asset is a story as old as time itself, oversight is no excuse for continued inaction. Stargate is a long-storied and globally recognised powerhouse of a franchise with an iconic thing. Amazon bought MGM specifically for its IP and extensive library of content, so to think that it has a successful, multifaceted franchise on its hands that it can reactivate, immediately increasing the value of the legacy shows while also guaranteeing a built-in viewership for new shows, should be considered a prime opportunity. Pun intended, prime. Stargate could even become a flagship franchise for Amazon Prime Video in the same way that Star Trek is for Paramount Plus and Star Wars and Marvel are for Disney Plus. But after 2 years of radio silence, I worry that Amazon fails to recognise this, because they've got their bloody rings of power that they seem to be behind. I still want to become rich so I can have a custom Stargate hot tub. Yes, like a ring, just all water inside, bubbling, all lit from underneath to look like an event horizon. Oh dear. Such as that. Now, before I continue, I want to make one thing clear. I do not believe that fans are owed anything by Amazon MGM Studios. Yeah, they are. Entitlement is a dangerous thing to hold on to, and it is far too common in today's world of supercharged internet fandoms. That being said, before he says, I'm going to say, yes, studios do owe their fans. It's the fans that keep interesting stuff alive. It's the fans that keep money going into the studios in DVD and Blu-ray sales and subscriptions to streaming services where they can watch the shows, and which is often demonstrated in these shows being high in the top 10s or whatever, like on Netflix in the UK. Star Trek, the proper Star Trek, Voyager and Next Generation, Deep Space Nine and Enterprise, they're always up in the trending sections on Netflix in the UK. They're always up there in the top 10. So, and I'm sure Stargate would be as well. Maybe it is, I don't know, on Amazon, but I don't know. I think we are entitled to expect the company that owns something we love to actually do something with it. We are entitled to demand what that is, though. Yes, we are. We've got to do it how we want it. I know what you mean. Yes. But they do owe the fans, because, as I said, it's the fans that essentially paying their wages, aren't they? Because fans of Stargate will also become fans of other shows, of other genre shows. So there'll be a lot of Stargate fans on Amazon that'll also be watching the Boys and stuff, and Reacher and stuff like that. You know, action shows, and so they're watching those while they're waiting for Stargate to come along, and The Expanse and stuff like that. Anyway. So, yes, they should do what the fans want, but not do exactly what the fans want, you know. We need a good story, don't just... Because if they do what the fans want, we'd end up with, like, Homer Simpson's car that he designed, wouldn't we? So anyway. That being said, I'm imploring Amazon MGM Studios to realise what they are sleeping on. If they can find a way to respect the legacy of the Wright Cooper era and recapture what made the franchise so great, then I think they will be astonished by the results and what an asset it will be to their streaming service. I also want to implore Amazon MGM Studios to consider one last factor: time. The longer they wait to produce more Stargate, the less likely it is to be successful. On one hand, if the studio wants to continue with the Wright Cooper canon, then the window is rapidly closing, especially for the ageing actors to reprise their roles as legacy characters. On the other hand, if Amazon wants to do a full reboot, well, that reboot's prospects are largely dependent on people's attachment to and memory of the franchise. And if most Stargate fans have either died, moved on, or no longer hold an emotional connection to the franchise, then why even bother reviving it? Simply put, the longer Stargate sits idly on the shelf, the more devalued the brand becomes. That's why Amazon should start pushing classic Stargate. Never mind just hiding it away in the MGM whatever. Just start pushing it. Start, putting it on people's recommended lists and stuff like that. Get it out there. Get people watching it again. Anyway, that's why I think it's best to bring in old and new people. Non-fans can make Wrath of Khan, but Patrick Stewart can make Picard Season 2. Yes. Yes, we need. We need old and new people. You could have like I say, Brad Wright or Joseph Malozzi or one of the other people that were in charge. The old producers from classic Stargate. They could be like there as advisors or whatever. You could have brand new showrunners like this Hawk Osby and the other fella or whoever. But get some of the old hands in to steady the tiller, or to guide them. From their experience, use their experience, learn from them. Anyway, Stargate fans are loyal and long-suffering, but they are also starting to lose hope. So please, Amazon MGM Studios, while we understand the complexities of reviving a dormant franchise and the industry factors currently in play, don't let Stargate remain dormant any longer. Was that it? Oh, we're done. All right, cool. Where would you prefer, I've got a poll, where would you prefer new Stargate series air? Prime Video with a subscription, Amazon free but with ads, MGM Plus, paid premium network, cable TV, just make it, I'll watch it, yeah, pretty much. Just make it, I'll watch it anywhere, no preference, yeah, pretty much, that'd be mine. That'd be mine, to be honest. Just get it out there. It can premiere on Prime Video or MGM Plus or whatever. It can premiere there, but then sell it, shop it out to others, and get it out there. Make your money back. Don't squander it away like a lot of these streaming services do. Say, this is mine, and only our subscribers can watch it. Get it out there. Let it premiere on other stuff, but. Give it 6 months or something and then start showing on in other places. I'm going to vote. There we go. Is it going to say how? Come on, loading. Taking a lot of loading, that, isn't it? What's it loading up? My computer just crashes now. Probably. Never mind. So there we go. So Adam Barnard is an avid Stargate fan. That were a long article. I'll probably clip that out and do it as a separate video tomorrow. Anyway, is that going to do anything? I want to see, what the percentages were. It's not doing out, is it? Never mind. So there we go. But yes, hang on. Have they ever tried a model where something comes out on Amazon first and then a week later it's premiered on Netflix, for example? Probably not, no. But they should start trying to do that. They'd make more money, wouldn't it? It'd make more money for both streaming services. Maybe not a week later. Maybe give it a bit more time on the original one that made it, because they'll want their day in the sun, won't they? So maybe a few weeks, maybe a month or so later, it can go on to another streaming service. And they can have a big premiere there, can't they? For the first time on Netflix, Stargate. It's not Stargate Command or whatever they're going to call it. But, yeah, they should do that. they should join forces as well. Share the load of the money and stuff like that. That's what they should do. And then they're not all losing a lot of money all at once. Anyway, so there we go. So we leave it there. So just pull your fingers out, Amazon, and get on with it. That's what they just did when Resident Alien came to Netflix. Granted, that was years later. I've never seen it. That it's him with what's his face, isn't it? Alan Tudyk, who's wish he'd change his name. Yeah, and I've heard it's good, but never got around to watching it. I'm not even sure if it's on Netflix over here, but it's somewhere. Just watching it now, it's really good. I'll have to give it a go. Right, let's move on. So yes, Amazon, pull your finger out. Do Stargate. We will see. Right.